Welcome to General English class for second BA 4th semester. This is session number 24. In this session, we're going to see about the features of PowerPoint presentation, advantages, and rules to be followed while making a PowerPoint presentation. I'm Mercy Victoria, Assistant Professor of English, Government First Grade College, Kanakpura. Before going into today's session, let's have a quick recap of what had happened in the previous session. In the previous session, so far, we have seen what is presentation, importance of presentation, what are the purpose of presentation, factors affecting presentation, visual and vocal elements. One of the most important factor of a presentation is factors affecting presentation, which are 6 in numbers. They are audience analysis, communication environment, personal appearance, use of visual, opening and closing of presentation, organization of presentation. In the previous session, we saw about question and answer session. We saw every presentation will have a session on question answer where the presenter is allowed to answer the question and audience are allowed to ask questions. We also saw both the points to remember while answering the questions. Let us quickly look at the introduction to PowerPoint presentation and features of PowerPoint presentation. What is PowerPoint presentation? PowerPoint is an easy program to use and a powerful tool for giving a presentation. It is easily accessible, which has a good reach, which helps in better understanding and makes the presentation effective. PowerPoint has number of slides wherein the information are portrayed or presented in a slide in a point format. There are a number of features in PowerPoint presentation. Some of them are we can create and insert unlimited number of slides. In the slides, we can include or add graphs, charts, tables, video clippings, animation, audio clips, hyperlinks, etc. Through this, we can make our presentation interesting. What are the advantages of PowerPoint presentation? So I already told you the number of features in the PowerPoint presentation. What does these features give for the presentation? First and foremost, enhanced impact upon the audience. Yes, audience play an important role in presentation. In the previous sessions, we saw audience analysis. Once, after choosing the theme or an idea, we have to analyze the audience. In order to grasp the attention of the audience, these features play a major role. Imagine giving the views or talking for 1 hour will have less impact than making a talk with the help of picture, images and video. If the presenter shows a video or a relevant picture, which is applicable for his theme or the topic, it will definitely have a better impact upon the audience. It also helps in visual impact and engage the audience. How can the presenter engage the audience with the help of the visuals? After showing a video clipping or playing an audio clipping, the presenter can pose questions or ask questions to the audience based on the videos or the audios played. In that way, we can engage the audience and there will be an interactive session. Second most advantage is superior quality of material. It could be colors, fonts, images, etc. Color of the font, the background of the slide can be changed choosing various colors which are there in the PowerPoint. You can also change the color of the letter, size, outline colors of the text. Text effects can be done. 3D rotation is possible. So all these things are possible in order to make the PowerPoint interesting and attractive. What do you mean by fonts? Fonts are the size of the letters. Usually it is advisable to go for a font size of about 30. Font size depends upon the audience. If there are large audience, it is always better to go for a large font size. Images. Images grasp the attention of the audience. A beautiful image, definitely grasps the attention of the audience. The next most advantage of a PowerPoint presentation is it boosts the confidence of the speaker or the presenter. When does the presenter get nervous or scared? When he does not remember the points to talk. But here the advantage of PowerPoint is that he does not have to have notes prepared handy. Everything is being projected. The presenter just have to look at the slide and elaborate his speech on the point which are presented on the presentation, on the PowerPoint. Yes, as a result, he feels confident, it boosts his confidence level. One more advantage is that it is very easy to operate. You don't have to be a tech savvy. It is just a click of a mouse or a key. You can change the slide or go back to the previous slide or the next slide. It's just a click of a key or a mouse. Another greatest advantage is that videos can be demonstrators. Videos have a greater impact than the pictures. We get short videos are made only for this. A short video or the videos have greater impact upon the audience and that can be demonstrated and which can be projected in the PowerPoint. Slides can be modified in the last moment. When does this happen? If the presenter has forgotten an important point to be added in the PowerPoint presentation, if he remembers at the end or the nth moment before the presentation, he can definitely add or modify the present slide already there even at the last moment. Or if he has to change the statistics or a data which has already been projected there, he can definitely do that even before the presentation. So it can be modified or changed in the last moment. So these are some of the advantages of PowerPoint presentation. Enhances the impact. Colors and fonts and images can be used according to our taste. It boosts the self-confidence of the presenter. Very easy to operate. Videos can be demonstrated. Slides can be modified at the last moment also. However, there are certain rules that should be followed while preparing a PowerPoint presentation. The following are the rules recommended while designing a PowerPoint presentation. As I told you earlier, creation and insertion of slides, unlimited slides. However, it is recommended to keep the minimized number of slides, minimum number of slides. Don't have more than 10 or 12 slides. It is always better. We cannot keep, changing the slides. It might be a distraction for the audience. And each slide should have 4 to 5 points. So as I told you earlier, informations are projected in a slide as point form. But restrict the number of slides and restrict the number of points that are written in the slide to 4 to 5 points. What happens if there are more than 5 points? It gets clumsy, overcrowded, and the audience will not be able to get the message. They might find it difficult to comprehend what is being told in that slide. So always stick to 4 to 5 points per slide. So while preparing the point, make sure it is short or a phrase or few words. Don't have full sentences in a slide. Always focus on the important point so that the presenter can elaborate his speech on that particular point. Project only those important points which are necessary for the message or the views. Thirdly, charts and graphs instead of tables. For examples, when do we use charts and graphs? When we do a comparative study, when there is a sales meeting, when you are asked to do a presentation on sales pertaining to the previous month and this month, there should be a comparative study. In that case, instead of giving the numbers, tables in numbers, try to project the same figure in charts or graphs so that it will be easy to comprehend whether there was an increase in the sale or decrease in the sale. It could be a pie chart, a pie diagram, or a bar graph, whatever. But it is always better to use charts and graphs rather than tables. And these charts and graphs should project trends, not details. What do you mean by trends? What is happening? What is the present situation? It should portray the situation, the present situation, rather than the numbers as in tables. So in that way, it will have a greater impact on the audience or the person who's listening to your presentation. And use of colors in these charts make a big difference. In order to show the difference in the sale, we can make use of two different colors to differentiate the rise and flow. So, charts and graphs should project trends rather than details. Next important rule is that use animation selectively. As I told you earlier, animation can be included in a slide, but every slide should not have animation. These kind of insertion of videos and audio should complement the message what we are trying to portray. It shouldn't be a distraction for the audience. The audience should take the message home, not the additional things like videos or audios which should complement the theme or the idea. So hence use animation selectively. Wherever it is necessary, it can be used, not everywhere. Next most important rule is that use of colors, fonts and designs consistently. This is one of the most important thing to remember. Colors play a major role. It gives an attraction for the audience. It grasps the attention of the audience. So the background of color of the slide can be changed and the color of the letters can be changed. If the background is always maintain a subtle background, it is always advisable to maintain a subtle background. Don't go for too dark backgrounds. If the background is dark, the letter should be light. If the background is light, the letters should be dark. And use those colors which are not eye-catching. Let it be subtle. What do you mean by font? The size and the style of the letters. The background, the outline of the letters can be changed. The outline of the letters can be in a different color, and the filling can be in a different color. The style of the letter can be different or in a different color. The size of the letter can be different. As I told you earlier, the size of the letter depends upon the number of audience. So it is always advisable to go for font size more than 30 so that it will be easy for the audience to read. And the designs, don't go for a jarring design. You should keep it simple and consistent. Every slide should be consistent. It should be uniform throughout the end. Don't keep changing the font, color of the font or colors of the slide or designs. It shouldn't be a distraction for the audience. When we come to fonts, large fonts easily readable. As I told you earlier, it is always advisable to go for larger font than small ones because the audience should be able to read what is being projected. That's the very purpose of the PowerPoint presentation. And one more important rule that should be kept in mind while preparing a PowerPoint presentation is that avoid spelling and grammatical errors. So this is something which is very important. What happens if there are grammatical errors and spelling? It might be again a distraction and disrespectful for the presenter. The message may not reach the audience. The audience concentration would be on the errors than the message being conveyed. So always avoid spellings and grammatical errors. So these things should be kept in mind while preparing a PowerPoint presentation. PowerPoint is a wonderful tool which comes under MS Office and which helps in enhancing the presentation and which helps in an effective presentation. It is a easy to use tool and readily available in MS Office. So with this, we have come to a end of session 24. Before we end, let us have a quick recapitulation of what we have seen in this session. We saw what is PowerPoint presentation, what are the features of PowerPoint presentation, what are the advantages of PowerPoint presentation. Some of the advantages are we can make use of charts, graphs, animation, hyperlinks, videos, audios, change the color of the font, color of the background color. All these things can be changed. Next, rules recommended for PowerPoint presentation. We saw some of the rules that should be followed while preparing a PowerPoint presentation. One is even though we can add or create unlimited slides, but it is always good to minimize the number of slides and minimize the points to 4 to 5 points per slide, not to overcrowd. And even though we can change the color and the font size or style, it is always better to have a subtle color and font above 30 so that it will be easy for the audience to read. One should make use of animation selectively. The font and the color should be consistent throughout the PowerPoint, and as a result, it helps in the enhances the visual effect and the enhances the audience interest and makes our presentation effective. Let us continue with presentation skill in the next session. Thank you so much.